Welcome back to Empowering the Educator Within. I'm your host, Christina Shala, and today we're tackling an essential piece of the inclusive education puzzle: how to build an effective ELL program that truly supports learners at every level. If your school serves students from multilingual backgrounds, and most do, then having a solid ELL program in place isn't optional, it's foundational. But setting one up, or even refining an existing one, can raise more questions than answers. What should be prioritized? Who should be involved? And how can we make sure that no student falls through the cracks? Let's break down some best practices that can serve as a blueprint for schools ready to take their ELL support to the next level. The first and often overlooked step is recognizing that conversational English isn't enough. Sure, a student might seem fluent in day-to-day interactions. They might chat confidently at recess or in the cafeteria, but that doesn't mean they're ready to tackle an academic text in science or grasp the nuances of a math word problem. That's why your initial ELL assessments need to go deeper than just, can this student hold a conversation? They should consider their language abilities across all subject areas: math, science, social studies, and beyond. Otherwise, students risk being under-supported simply because they appear fluent on the surface. A robust program must intentionally support both conversational and academic language development, and differentiate between the two when assessing needs. This brings us to the next key piece. Support doesn't just come from the language teacher. It takes a village. Here's the truth. A single ELL teacher, no matter how skilled, cannot carry the weight of language development alone. For a program to truly work, it needs to be built on a school-wide approach. This includes your specialist teachers, music, art, PE, technology, anyone who interacts with students in a learning context. Even if your ELL team can't offer direct support in those classrooms, your specialists still need tools and training to understand how language affects access to their content. And no, this doesn't mean turning them into language teachers. It means giving them practical strategies: how to scaffold instructions, how to use visuals effectively, how to simplify without dumbing down. And when every teacher is aware and equipped, your ELL learners benefit from a consistent and supportive environment throughout their day. Speaking of consistency, this is key. When language is taught in wildly different ways across the school, it becomes harder for students to connect the dots, and it becomes even harder for ELL teachers to plan strategically. That's why it helps to adopt a shared language teaching approach across classrooms, including specialists. Whether it's sentence stems, graphic organizers, or vocabulary strategies, having common tools makes learning more cohesive for students. It also empowers your ELL team to better communicate with parents, explaining what's being done at school and how families can support learning at home. Because when we speak the same educational language, we build bridges that extend beyond the classroom. Now let's talk logistics. If your ELL team is always playing catch-up, finding out about projects the day before, or seeing the science unit after it's launched, then something needs to shift. Collaborative planning tools are essential. These can range from shared yearly overviews to unit outlines and detailed lesson plans. The format may vary, but the goal remains the same. ELL teachers need advanced access to what's being taught so they can tailor support, prepare materials, and plan intentionally. When ELL teachers work in true partnership with classroom teachers and, where possible, with specialist subject teachers, the result is layered support that feels aligned, intentional, and responsive, rather than piecemeal or reactive. If you're wondering how to put these ideas into action, don't worry, we've got something to help. We've developed a presentation to guide you through the process of designing or refining your ELL program. It covers everything from setting your department's vision, to accessing and aligning with curricular goals, to implementing a support model that works for your context. You'll find a link to the full article in the episode description, where you can explore the slideshow or download the PDF to use as a guide. Building an ELL program is more than a checklist. It's about creating a system that sees and supports every learner. One that doesn't confuse fluency with understanding or isolate language learning in one corner of the school. Because when language is treated as everyone's responsibility, students don't just survive, they thrive. And if you're looking for more tools to align your ELL department with the rest of your school, our book, Empowering the Educator Within, along with the companion workbook, offers practical ideas for using educational frameworks and individualized planners to keep your team in sync and your planning purposeful. Thanks for tuning in to Empowering the Educator Within. I'll see you next time.